My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Today is December 19, 2024. It is 2:08 a.m. I have a lot of tweets to share with you, but they might go really quick. At first, I was like, I'm just gonna do one video. Then, as I go through Twitter, I'm seeing more and more and more. There's some hilarious videos as well. But I decided to split them into two as I start getting more and more tweets, and I was like, all of them cannot be on the same video, not only of the amount of tweet that I have, but also the topics. Then I start differentiate them. One will be on this channel, Team Sussex, and the other one will be on Pt1. Okay, so for the Pt1, I think I've added more to this. It might be 16 or 15. All the 15 include some of the, I think I have a cat video, or did I remove it? Let's see. I usually put them at the end. There's some ducks and dogs in a car. Okay. All right. And there's some stuff regarding Canada and some homeless things. So, yeah. So, not all of them are for the Sussexes. Okay. So, let's get started. Background. 4,463 subscribers. New subscribers, welcome. Estimate revenue, $87.36. Analytics. Okay, 641 views in the last 48 hours. Okay, so let's go on Twitter. Oh, let me pause this because this is one of the tweets. I don't want this to be in there. Someone just liked it. That's why it popped up first. All right. First tweet. Okay. This didn't actually come first on my timeline. It's because after I started finding a lot of other tweets and I rearranged it and I said, let me start with that one first. Cover up, government and the monarchy use secrecy, obfuscation, and institutional collusion to shield the royals from public accountability. This perpetuates a culture of privilege and impunity and undermines the principles of democracy. When I saw this, the first thing that came to mind was that I was thinking of Putin. Putin, it's gonna sound weird. It seems like he understands the stupidity of democracy. Okay, the way, the facade of things, even in the US. Okay, again, I never met Putin, I never speak with him, but the way that I see him do certain things from the small glimpse that I've seen, this is what I think. He has an idea of, or he, how will I say it? Let me put it in a better term. He wanted to reveal the stupidity of democracy, especially with the US. Okay? It's almost like the monarchy in the UK. They put the facade, pretend they are this welcoming, they, how will I say that? They are very welcoming, they are good for culture and all of that, and the US as well. And to pretend that, we work hard, you could make it and all of that. Okay? The facade of things. Okay? You have the American dreams and all of that. I was reading a comment where someone said, this is why they want people to believe in the American dreams. So you don't be awake. Just keep dreaming. That's all. But so for Putin, he wanted to reveal that. To say, look, they are BSing you. They're not that. But as he started getting more power, the people in his country giving him more power, he himself created a facade for himself. Okay, he's that strong guy. Remember when Obama was in office, there was a time where they're showing him, the Republican, showing Putin on a horse. He's strong. He does this. He does, strong man. He does, karate. Is it karate or was it? It's a form of martial art. It's not karate. It's a judo. Judo. Showing how strong he is. He also put that persona of a facade. So as his people giving him more power to do more things, and he exploit the people of his country, and I think he used his entire thing, his entire being, to pretty much destroy both the US and the UK, and he's doing a pretty good job at it. But as he continued, he became too confident of himself, where he felt like, okay, so they're giving me more power, and he put his people in some despair, use all of the people's money to do espionage thing, buy people off and things like that, to do the inside damage. And he felt like, oh, they see me as this strong thing and they're afraid of me by creating this facade of things. So he decided, okay, I want to recreate the the Soviet Union kind of thing. So he had a plan. Step 1, to go with Ukraine. Step 2, go to the following country, and so forth, so on. But he's stuck in step 1. They didn't take his bluff. All right, they didn't buy his bluff or run away, pretend that, not pretend, run away, but as if they were afraid of him. They stood and fight, and this is where we are now. So if he had focused on his job, if he had focused on his main thing, he would have been completely successful. Maybe he is. Look at the US right now. Just look at the US. But it's the facade of things. Everybody is working in the facade of things. Okay, I stay too much on this. I don't even think I explain it well, because everyone is bluffing. And the UK, I don't know. They might still remain because they're good at the bluffing. They've been doing it for a very long time. And Putin takes couple steps or couple cues from the UK.
Fraudsters who ripped off consumers. Cheaters who broke the rules for their own gain. So hear me when I say, I know Donald Trump's type. And in this campaign, I will proudly put my record against his. As a young prosecutor, when I was in the Alameda County District Attorney's Office in California, I specialized in cases involving sexual abuse. Donald Trump was found liable by a jury for committing sexual abuse. As Attorney General of California, I took on one of our country's largest for-profit colleges and put it out of business. Donald Trump ran a for-profit college, Trump University, that was forced to pay $25 million to the students it scammed. As district attorney, to go after polluters, I created one of the first environmental justice units in our nation. Donald Trump stood in Mar-a-Lago and told big oil lobbyists he would do their bidding for a $1 billion campaign contribution. During the foreclosure crisis.
And then, let's just continue, because there's a lot going on. Okay, the government reluctance to release information about Prince Andrew exemplifies how the establishment works to protect the royal family from scandal. Okay, so there's an article. I'm not gonna read article. 100% thumbs up. This has been done elsewhere. Look at this. I didn't even see that. Okay, this has been done elsewhere. Yes, it has. Just like I was just saying at the beginning, every country is doing the same thing, a facade of thing, and at the expense of the people. And also, many of these governments, they pretty much are one. Okay, this is why they're trying to create one world order type of thing. When one of them step out of line within the group, okay, then the rest manufactured a war to get rid of them. That's the way that I see it. I'm not saying this is exactly what's happening, but from my perspective, this is the way that I boil everything down to. Okay, this has been done elsewhere. It's logical and fairly easy to do. England doesn't need this appendage, whatever the appendage or its worshipper might say. All right, notable corruption and criminality by the royal family. Charles, as commander-in-chief, now directly involved in the genocide of Palestinians as British military assets are on the ground assisting Israeli forces. They've been at it. Have I been saying the GOP in the US and the Tories? I know right now you guys have, what's this guy, a new prime minister, but they're pretty much the same. I consider what the current prime minister of the UK is, he's just holding on, okay? Holding on for when the Tories come up with an idea to get back to power and then start all over again. But pretty much it's the same. The GOP and the government and the UK, the same. They've been helping Israel for a very long time. Okay? And then the current government of Israel is pretty much, I consider they hijacked the country. They hijacked the, the Jews, the form of religion, to just take power. They're not really that religion, in my humble opinion. Okay, I'm staying too much on this. Let me just finish with what's on the screen here. Okay, whatever the appendage, okay, I read this. Notable corruption and criminality by the royal family. Charles, as commander-in-chief, now directly involved in the genocide of Palestinians as British military assets, are on the ground assisting Israeli forces. Spot on, 100%. I don't know how much help do they need, because their opponent don't even have that kind of weapons to fight back the way they do. I don't know. Well, one of the things that I say is the way the Middle East is going right now, it seems like it's the same way the US was established. They go in, kill, and take the land away from the people, and all the other countries within the Middle East are gonna be like a different state. Okay? It's gonna be one country but different states. I don't know. That's the way that I see it. Spot on. There's a thumbs up. Absolutely irrelevant. Okay. Let me leave this here. I don't want to go further. Let's go to the next one. Next tweet. They all operate in a facade. Let me pause. Okay. Bullying the Sussexes is how royalists make a living. Everything Harry and Meghan sells. No one gives a shit about the state leftovers. If the pictures was manipulative like Kate's pics were, major publication would have called Harry and Meghan out, just as they did KP, which was declared unreliable. Okay, so that was one of the things I responded to, and then now the squad are picking up. That was an old tweet couple videos ago, and then I just put the Kate picture, and I was like, oh, you mean something like that? And then ever since, but anyway, let's listen.
Interview Prince Harry's done. Another high-profile person speaking publicly. Harry was speaking about his family's move to America, and it was an interview at the New York Times Deal Book Summit on Wednesday.
I very much enjoy living here and bringing my kids up here. It's a part of my life that I never thought I was going to live. And I feel as though it's the life that my mum wanted for me. And to be able to do the things that I am able to do with my kids that I undoubtedly wouldn't be able to do in the UK is huge. And that's a fantastic opportunity, and I'm hugely grateful for that.
And the articles that were written about that obviously take the headline, Harry says life in the US is what Diana would have wanted for him. Carrie, what do you think?
I think that how you feel about this is so much to do with your mindset towards Harry anyway. So my mindset towards Harry is that I think he's a guy that's suffered a massive trauma, who's trying to work out that trauma in his adult life, like we all are. I really hate the fact that it feels like often I don't know who the we is, but we're waiting and hoping for his failure. And that really disturbs me, just that attitude of, can't wait for this guy to fail. Like, why? Like, he's just a guy who's had his mother.
Because he accused the Queen of racism, that might be a reason.
Yeah,
what?
Because maybe...
Wait a second. Harry never accused the Queen of racism.
Hold up.
There's several conversations.
There's a conversation with you,
with Harry,
about how dark your baby is going to be?
potentially, and what that would mean or look like.
Ooh.
That conversation I'm never going to share. But at the time it was awkward. I was a bit shocked.
Can you tell us what the question was?
No, I'm not comfortable sharing that.
Okay.
Never. Never. He even said he will not name who the person is. And this is how the leftovers, the mouthpiece, decided to take it upon themselves to name whoever it is on the book that the author then even put on the book. I'm talking about the end game from Omid, where one of many languages, only one language decided to insert a paragraph or a page that the author never wrote, to name I think he said King Charles and Kate. Piers Morgan said on national television,
I will never believe it, but now we can start the process of finding out if they ever got uttered, what the context was, and whether there was any racial intent at all. Like I say, I don't believe there was. The royals who are named in this book are King Charles and Catherine, Princess of Wales.
The book's available in a number of languages, and unfortunately I can't speak Dutch, so I haven't seen the copy for myself, but if there have been any translation errors, I'm sure the publishers got it under control. For me, I edited and wrote the English version. There's never been a version that I've produced that has names in it.
But for the book, The Endgame by Omid Scobie, only one language. It have been written in multiple languages, but only one language has that. And Omid, the author, said he never wrote anything like that. So which means someone decided to sabotage it. For this guy to say Harry names the Queen as the, was it racism or something? Is that what he said?
Because he accused the Queen of racism, that might be a reason.
But Harry never named any names. Oh my goodness, but let's continue. So this needs to be corrected.
He suffered racism.
He suffered racism. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't think it's necessarily a case we want him to fail. I think we just want him because I think most people can see that he's a troubled man. He's a troubled man.
How is he? This is someone who went and get help because everyone in his family wanted him to be just drinking and smoking.
Without credit, I mean, I've been a pessimist many times because of the work that we end up doing. You can be surrounded by negativity sometimes.
How about you, Harry?
He'd probably sit in and play computer games and drink beer. Thanks a lot. No,
that we end up doing, you can be surrounded by negativity sometimes.
Has there been any kind of diva demands or sort of pop stars you've had to deal with that have been quite tricky?
We couldn't possibly be so indiscreet. The Spice Girls were quite keen to... He's been the hardest. He's, some cigarettes somewhere and a beer, that's about it, really. But apart from that, it's been pretty easy.
Have you been the diva today then, Harry, with your rider?
I haven't been the diva. This is very unfair.
Because of the work that we end up doing, you can be surrounded by negativity sometimes.
And we were seeing that. We were seeing pictures of that. And then the entire country, well, not all the little people, but the media, have fun at him, showing him drunk on papers and talking about him and all that. This is someone who changed his life. And this guy is saying that Harry is a trouble man. He fixed himself. Why? My God. Whoa, what am I listening to? What the hell is wrong with these people? Wow, this is unbelievable.
He's had issues with his family. They've obviously had blazing around.
Well, he had issue with the family because the family refused to leave him alone and his wife. And they never really stand up for him with the papers, who keep on bashing him every time he tried to do things privately with the family. Next thing you know, things is on front page news.
Institutional role, why be so public? You say you tried to do this privately.
And every single time I've tried to do it privately, there have been briefings and leakings and planting of stories against me and my wife.
And remember, the purpose of the PR office at the royal family is to keep the royals in the press all the time. So you have to remember, when I work in newsrooms, it's a fact that every anti-Harry and Meghan story comes from Kensington Palace.
Institutional role, why be so public? You say you tried to do this privately.
And every single time I've tried to do it privately, there have been briefings and leakings and planting of stories against me and my wife.
And remember, the purpose of the PR office at the royal family is to keep the royals in the press all the time. So you have to remember, when I work in newsrooms, it's a fact that every anti-Harry and Meghan story comes from Kensington Palace.
But why
and if it comes from Kensington Palace, why are they briefing against their own grandson?
Well, okay, that's a very... The idea
why are there never any
I think that's fascinating.
About Prince William?
Well, William...
Institutional role, why be so public? You say you tried to do this privately.
And every single time I've tried to do it privately, there have been briefings and leakings and planting of stories against me and my...
Is that the case? No, absolutely not. No, and if we're talking about why this whole, Harry Meghan thing started, it started because several years ago, if you cast your mind back, the Queen was and always will be the most popular royal, but second to that was Harry. It wasn't William and Kate. It was not William and Kate. And when Harry and Meghan became such a popular couple, it put everybody's noses out of joint. The establishment wanted to retain the monarchy as it was, to boost William and Kate, and the media, the Daily Mail and the Telegraph in particular, fed those lines.
Well, I agree with everything until you said the last bit. I think that somebody in the palace decided to take them down a peg or two, and it went too far.
Wife. The family motto is never complain, never explain, but it's just a motto, and it doesn't really hold...
There's a lot of complaining and a lot of explaining.
Endless.
Private, being done through leaks.
Through leaks. They will feed or have a conversation with the correspondent, and that correspondent will literally be spoon-fed information and write the story, and in the bottom of it, they will say that they've reached out to Buckingham Palace for comment. But the whole story is Buckingham Palace commenting. So when we're being told for the last 6 years, we can't put a statement out to protect you, but you do it for other members of the family, there becomes a point when silence is betrayal.
What the hell is wrong with the... Yeah, they literally remove something in their brain. Anything... Well, there was a paper that says anything about Harry has to be negative. So that part, they insert that part in their brain, talk negative about Harry, never say anything meaningful. But if you're stupid enough to listen to these people, you would have assumed. Why? Because these are adults who literally stand in front of national television lying to the people. And the guy, Harry, who's saying things out of his mouth, but nobody wants to listen to him. He's telling his truth, but nobody wants to listen to him. And they're saying that he's a trouble man. He fixed himself. He went to therapy.
When my wife saved me.
Yeah.
I was stuck in this world.
Yeah.
And she was from a different world and helped sort of draw me out of that. But none of the elements of my life now would have been possible without me seeing it for myself.
Yeah.
As we know, it's one of the, it's hard to change. It's almost impossible to change other people.
Yeah.
You've got to start with changing yourself and allow that growth to happen. But yes, my partner is an exceptional human being, and I'm eternally grateful for the wisdom and the space that she's been able to give to me.
Well, there's an incident in the book where you kind of lose it. I think you lose your temper, and she says to you, "You can't do that with me. I will not be with a person who does that. I will not have children with a person who does that. You'll have to figure out what's going on inside yourself." And my wife, bless her soul, has always challenged me she wouldn't put up with anything less than my true self. And what a gift. And so relationships, but not just with spouses, but also with people who see you and accept you, such an important part of healing, I think.
And I needed that.
Yeah.
I really needed that. I needed that pushback. I needed that moment of, again, scared of losing her. And it was a real moment because of the question that she asked.
Yeah.
She said, is it because that was how you were brought up? Or that you've experienced or seen or heard, other people within your life speak to women like that? And it was like a light bulb moment. It was like, wow.
Yeah.
that's where it comes from. Not an excuse.
No.
Just
An
understanding of how these things manifest themselves and how we are so much a product of our own upbringing.
Oh my God, the entire UK needs help. Oh my Lord. Them in particular, the people who's in national television and the media. Oh Lord.
Because they've got staff that do all their sort of biddings and all the rest of it and profile and, whatever the fallout with his brother or his dad, whatever. It's a family feud. And it's not about, I think, it's about wanting him probably to come back to the UK. And if he did say, you know what?
Well, you want him to come back. This is not Harry's problem anymore. And I am so glad he went through that painful situation, going to court, have the judge review everything so we know what's going on. If he didn't do that, we will never know that his family, his brother, literally hired Simon Case to kick him out. This is why every time I come across where people are saying Harry left or this and that, we have to make sure to let people know it was his brother who put it in writing to get him out, not as a working royal. This needs to be really ingrained in people's brain. Otherwise, we would have thought that it's Harry who decided to leave. And, in different times, separate occasion, where in the Oprah interview, Oprah asked them, did they wanted to stay? Both of them said yes, they wanted to stay.
So in conclusion, if you'd had the support, you'd still be there?
Without question.
Yeah.
I'm sad that what's happened has happened, but I know, and I'm comfortable knowing that we did everything that we could to make it work, and we did everything on the exit process the way that it should have been
with
done.
as much respect.
With as much respect.
Oh my God, we just did everything we could to protect them.
Where in the Oprah interview, Oprah asked them, did they wanted to stay? Both of them said yes, they wanted to stay and do work things, and you saw Meghan was doing wonderful job. Depending on how these people, the crazy people who's calling heavy trouble, depending on how they see it, but they both, especially Meghan, for a short period of time she was over there, she was doing wonderful job. Do the cookbook. Still, she's sleeping in her house right now. She's still helping the UK. Why? Because of the cookbook. People buy the book. The money, the profit from the book goes to help the people. Okay? So she's still helping the UK even though she's not over there. So for these people to say Harry is a trouble man, they don't want, whoever is uttering those words out of their mouth about Harry, they don't want who are trouble. They need to see psychologists to understand the process. What just happened? Harry literally did the thing, the hard work, so painful to watch and see him go through that with his own money. He didn't have to, but he did it to make sure people understand and to make sure there's a second set of eyes who's seeing, to understand what's happening, what the institution is letting go by having the judge to remove it. So the airhead, the egghead, the idiotic brother of Harry hire someone who's really good, because he's not the first time high level professional hire Simon Case to put things in writing for them. That's because Simon Case is really good. We have to give him credit for that. They hire him for something, and they give him the goal, what his objective is, and he made sure to shuffle through the laws that are in place and see how he could apply them into the situation. And he did the job. Harry went to court. The judge saw whatever the procedures were, whatever some of the things that I was aware of, okay? And then they agree with the institution. Why do the judge agree with the institution? This is something that I've said before. Some squaddies don't agree with me. It's completely fine. But if the heir and the spare at that time, which is the heir, which is Charles, the spare, which is William, because they are the future of the institution, if they agree with it, and the Queen was about to go, and the Queen, and the sense and the perspective of the Queen, she been there for whatever 70 something years on the throne, and she knows she's about to go, and this is what both of her the heir and the spare agree to, she has no choice to go along with it. 2 against 1 as well. And then now there's the judge who's reviewing the documents and said, okay, if this is what the institution want, then I have to agree with it. Okay, because they put it in writing, whichever way Simon Case had put it in writing on the paper, and the judge had to agree with the 2 who's gonna carry on the institution. Harry was 6 in line at that time. I think now he's 5 after the Queen died. So he's down the line until all of William's kids, are in front of him. So the group that will be taking care of the institution, they are on the same page. And they said that Harry has to go. So the judge said, okay, this is what they want, so I have to agree with it. Whichever form or ways Simon Case put it in writing. Many of us don't agree with it. Okay, we didn't like what Harry had to go through. I'm pretty sure many of the people in the UK don't agree with that as well. But the ones who's gonna carry out the institution said he had to go. So what does the judge have to agree? And again, whichever way Simon Case put it, whatever law that was in place that he carried on to put it in writing and did it for him. And we heard from his book that they had already written the thing for him. They pretend this is the facade of thing that I was talking about. They made that appointment, Sandrium Summit, okay, for the people, the facade. Oh, we're going to talk to him. We're going to do this. Okay. Harry went and said, I want half in. They said, no, either you in or you out. And then little did Harry know, they had already wrote the thing for him to get out.
Began to address Granny about the 5 options. Your Majesty, you've seen the 5 options? Yes, she said. We all had. They'd been emailed to us. 5 different ways of proceeding. Option 1 was continuance of the status quo. Meg and I don't leave. Everyone tries to go back to normal. Option 5 was full severance. No royal role, no working for Granny, and total loss of security. Option 3 was somewhere in between. A compromise, closest to what we'd originally proposed. I told everyone assembled that, above all, I was desperate to keep security. That was what worried me most, my family's physical safety. I wanted to prevent a repeat of history, another untimely death, like the one that had rocked this family to its core 23 years earlier, and from which we were still trying to recover. I'd consulted with several palace veterans, people who knew the inner workings of the monarchy and its history, and they all said option 3 was best for all parties. Meg and I living elsewhere part of the year, continuing our work, retaining security, returning to Britain for charities, ceremonies, events. Sensible solution, these palace veterans said, and eminently doable. But the family, of course, pushed me to take option 1. Barring that, they would only accept option 5. We discussed the 5 options for nearly an hour. At last, the bee got up and went round the table, handing out a draft of a statement the palace would soon be releasing, announcing implementation of option 5. Wait, I'm confused. You've already drafted a statement? Before any discussion? Announcing option 5? In other words, the fix was in this whole time? This summit was just for show? No answer.
And this is why Harry had to do the next step, which is for the second set of eyes to see what the institution was doing, because Harry knows them. He grew up with them. So they create that facade for the people. Here, we're going to show the people, as a family, we're working hard to keep him in. Meanwhile, they don't want to kick him out. Okay, Harry told us in the open interview, he told us in his book, Spare, and we saw from court document, this is what happened. And for these people to, as if none of this existed. Okay? Oh my God. All right, I went on. I think this is going to have part 1 and part 2. And then the 3rd video will be on PYTE.
I need to come home. The whole country would say, come on, you've been a bit of a silly boy. You've said a few things that's upset a few people. You've written a whole book about your family that you weren't particularly...
Let me pause this one. Well, he wrote a book to tell his side of the story as well, because everybody's talking for him, putting the facade of a bad boy. I mean, you could judge for yourself, whatever way. But meanwhile, he's trying to do the good thing, but you guys are pulling him down. Oh my goodness. What the hell is wrong with these people? All right, let's listen to this one.
Call it discovery process, has been troubling and enlightening. And I just have to now sit and wait until April.
To mention an interview Prince Harry's done, another high-profile.
All right, let's leave that. There's the gilded cage. There's the last one here. Kensington Palace is no longer a trusted source after Kate Middleton edit photo. AFP Associate Press says after a March 10 photo of Kate Middleton was pulled from agencies from being doctored, AFP Global News Director Phil Shenwend revealed his agency no longer view Kensington Palace as a trusted source. That was March 14. And
Person speaking public. To mention
my
Prince
God.
Harry.
All right, let's move it from the screen. And the thing is that doctored photo that Kate did, they claim it's Kate, but it could be someone else. They just blame her for it. It was unnecessary, and they proved themselves. You know, just let them be and let them reveal themselves, which is what's happening little at a time. Let me read here. Besides the blatant lie, he was kicked out. Thank you. Okay, there it is. This is what I'm saying. Beside the blatant lies, he was kicked out of the home his grandma... Oh, that's something different. That's Fragmore Cottage. Okay, besides the blatant lies, he was kicked out of the home his grandmother provided for him. That family would rather the house wasted away empty and publicly snub him. When he's in the UK, what home do they think specifically will he be returning to? Thank you. That's another branch of things. Okay, that's the kind of love no one should ever receive or want. The guy chooses what's best for him, but these people say they know best. But these people say they know best and only want him back because they love him. And oh, he needs to apologize too. That's crazy. Okay, bullying the Sussexes is how William, Kate, Charles, and Camilla detract from the fact that Andrew has been found to be associated with a Chinese spy. Andrew screw up again, punish Harry and Meghan. Okay, the Jeremy Vine, he didn't accuse Queen. Thank you. This is the thing here. They quickly put some BS out there as well. I'm telling you, I think if once Harry done with these lawsuits that he's doing with the papers, he will have time to deal with them individually, I think. Remember, there's a video that I did a while back. I think it's on PYTE. And I say at some point, Harry needs to do call these people an international law. Because the thing that's going on, it's unbelievable. They easily open their mouth and say anything. The Jeremy Vine, he then accused Queen Elizabeth of racism. That's a blatant lie. But anything to suit your agenda. Okay? That's why I went on the long rant about Piers Morgan and the book of... what is it from Omid Scobie, Endgame and all of that. Jeremy Vine, if you are going to quote what someone said, get it right. Prince Harry and Meghan Markle stated that it was not his grandparents and they did not say a name. Okay, there's someone who's saying that as well, who questioned the unborn child's skin tone. It was Piers Morgan who outed King Charles III and Kate Middleton. Truthful fact are required. Good. Oh, I'm reading everything. Who is the plumbing tiny hander? All right, they also FOS. Okay, those two guys should be fertilized afield. Come home to where? He is home. You all need to move on. Okay, so I read all of the comments. All right, I think I should stop here and do part 2. Oh, no. All right, let me put these into that. There's some co-hosts who got fired. So let's put that in here. Okay, comma is a bit. Both of these trolls have been fired. Okay, Sussex squad fired, no job, sacked. Okay, let's go into that. Okay. Over and out, huge blow for Eamon Holmes as his co-host is replaced with no explanation after 3 years. Wait a second. I kept on coughing. I was gonna say, then something that was this guy on, what's his name? Eamon Holmes, something happened to him. Either he was hospitalized. I reported on him a while back from screenshots, okay? Whatever the squad was sharing. I spoke about him before. And this one is fired now. The pair, who are close friends off screen, previously anchored on Sky News together. Okay, December 18. Yesterday. YGB News have made the decision to permanently relieve me of my duties at the channel. I will speak publicly about this in due course. What? You were fired. That was it. So that's her here. And this is what I just read. Okay. People are laughing. They just baggage for God. I don't need to laugh about them. They just baggage for God. So this is the original tweet the squad responding to. Alright, it must be Christmas. We keep getting these gifts. Next, la la la, goodbye, boom. We're not worthy. Alright, let's go to the next tweet. I think it's talking about that again. The part 2 maybe should focus a little bit different things. Okay, the train is doing its round again. Next stop, Comma Station. Alright, there's that. GB News drama as Isabel Webster and Mark Dolan are axed and major shakeup. GB News announced that presenter Isabel Webster has been replaced on the channel's breakfast show, while Mark Dolan has been relieved of his duty. There was a time I was watching him and I was like, my goodness, such a young man. Well, compared to the others, to have the same mindset as these old people who keeps on lying to the people. I'm telling you, those old people, something needs to happen. I don't know why they stay so long, live so long to keep on spreading their negativity on this earth. And then those who carry on the same negativity, they stay longer too. My goodness. GB News Mark Dolan dramatically sacked with no warning as he vowed to speak out against channel. Mark Dolan has been axed by controversial TV network GB News after joining the station in 2021 and said he planned to speak publicly after the sudden fire. He doesn't have the same leverage as what's the other one? The one that says Sussex Squad, whatever his name is.
Sussex Squad. Sussex Squad.
Once I put it, you'll know who I'm talking about. Okay, he was once a reasonable, amusing stand-up comedian. Then he sold his soul for the shit-stirring Pashmo and grift. Well, that's what you get. Yes, there's a laugh here. This is the thing with many young people. They rather leave decency behind for money. This is what happened. I don't know him from before and now. All I know, I saw him in a couple videos that the squad share. And the first time that I crossed him, the video of him, the thing that crossed my mind was, my goodness, such a young person who's carrying the negativity of the old people who've been spewing negativity. And there it is here. So I didn't know how he was before, but all I remember was that video of him. There's the laugh here. I wish he'd tell it all, because he will leak about the said little man turn into low YouTuber. So there's the thing. Said little man, that's the one I was thinking of. He doesn't have the same leverage. Said little man knows how to use his leverage. He manipulate everyone who works around him. So when it's time to ask him, he used those things against him, and then they outsmart him, create a fake thing, you know, about the woman on the who cried foul, that they were laughing at her and stuff like that, and they used that to get him out of there. All right, next tweet. Sarah Vine is the last one of a long list of miserable people who have mocked, dehumanized, and berated Meghan, and who are getting hit them straight in the face without warning. This proves the point once again that the Rangers are miserable. That's their problem. Okay, all I have to say when I come across this stuff, the only reason I'm sharing with you is because the squad are talking about it. When I come across them, I just say baggage for God. Let God deal with them, because, you know, karma is like they say, karma is waiting for you to say something stupid. And ugly as sin. All right, so that's that. Let's go to the next one. I think after this, I'm gonna stop and do part 2 on this video, because I have more. Yeah, let me do part 2 after that one. Okay, okay, so let me leave it here, because now we're talking about that. So I'm gonna stop here. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. And don't forget, please subscribe. Okay, that's it. And share the videos. Okay, I'm gonna do part 2.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life.